Okay, so we've had a good look at the basic facilities that we find on the control surface. Now we're going to focus in on these Vistonics screens over here, which is a unique feature found only on Soundcraft and Studer digital consoles. This is a very, very exciting part of the console, and it allows us to have a very, very analog way of working. This gives us control of input levels, EQ, dynamics, also how we add lexicon effects, and how do we do all of the things, the common things that we would find on an analog console. So let's have a look at the Vistonics screen in a little bit more detail. You'll see that as I touch these small squares, they change color. And this area at the bottom, these knobs rest on the screen. Now, when I select the channel that I'm working on, and you can see that by the highlighted area around the channel, these knobs are doing the adjustments for that selected channel. So the blue area at the top, which I've now selected, covers all of the things we need for the very front end. So this is or for the example that we're doing here, the gain control, which in essence does exactly the same as the gain control that we've got down here, but we're choosing now to do it over here, but you could do it over here if you wanted to. In fact, if I put the input gain on over here, you'll see that whatever I do here, I can also do down here. So all it's doing is mapping this control up onto this knob over there. Also over here I will find very familiar things like a phantom power switch for that input, a phase inverse, and high cut and low cut filters, which are variable. And I can just switch them in and out at the press of a button. And then as I move through each channel, I will get the same for each channel that's directly below the screen. And this all works in the same way with a block of 8 faders at a time. So now if I move down, going back to the channel I was working on, I move down to the next block, which is this red one. Now what happens is I have a 4-band, fully parametric EQ for the selected channel. So it is effectively like a normal EQ strip that you'd find on an analog console, but it's just been rotated and it's lying on its side. So at the left-hand side, I've got low frequency, low mid, high frequency. Each band can be switched in or out, as you can see here, or the entire EQ section can be switched in or out. Let's just look at one of the bands. So if we look at the high-mid band, we'll see that we've got cut and boost, and that's shown very clearly on the display. And then above that, I've got a frequency select, which sweeps from 20 Hz to 20 kHz for all bands. And I have a bandwidth select. So again, very similar to what you would find on an analog console. But you've also got some neat little features. For example, if I've done some EQ, I'll just make some movements over here. If I press the flat button, it will just reset everything to its flat position. Moving down a little further, I select the next block. What I now have is an analog style gate across here and an analog style compressor. And again, just to reiterate, this is only for the channel that we've selected. So I can switch the gate on and I can switch the compressor on. And as I adjust the compressor threshold, you'll see gain reduction is happening immediately on the channel below here. Just going to adjust the gain a little bit to stop that clipping happening. And I can see the gain reduction occurring over here. And with the gate, if we adjust the threshold, we'll see the gate start to act over here. Very simple, so very analog in the way that it works. Going down a little further, this block brings up these orange knobs and these green knobs along the bottom here. Now these are purely for controlling aux sends. You can see that the top row is configured to be 8 auxiliary sends. So it's really just a case of saying I want to send the selected signal to aux output number 6, bringing up the level as you would on any simple analog console. And the same for any of the other auxiliaries. You can then also switch the auxiliary on or off. Below that, we've got these 8 knobs, and these have been configured to be group outputs. So again, if I want to send this channel to group output number 9, all I do is switch it on and it's now routed to that group output. Last but not least, the yellow section. This does all of the things related to panning and routing. So over here I have a pan control for the selected channel. I have an on-off, so I can switch the pan on or off if I need to just compare. I have a routing to the left-right master bus or the center master bus. And I also have the option of left-right or LCR modes. The bottom section over here has some slightly more advanced features which we'll have a look at slightly later.